Hi, Alexandra.
Hi, Eva.
Hi, welcome to my show. Alexandra Davidsson, I'm so happy to have you here.
Me as well. I'm super honored to be here on your show. I'm excited.
Yeah, so Alexandra, before we start, I have so many questions to you to ask. And I'm so curious about your answers about sustainable consumption and such. But before we start, I would like to introduce you to the audience, who you are.
Thank you.
And so you are the Secretary General of the Swedish Association for Responsible Consumption. And it's a non-profit working to raise awareness of how consumers can make more sustainable and circular choices. And I know that you have a great experience with both national and international humanitarian work. And you have held over 500 lectures within circular economy, sustainable consumption, gender and human rights. Wow! You are like a source of knowledge. And also, I happen to know, or I think everybody in Sweden knows, that you are actually named as one of Sweden's most exciting sustainability talents 2020 by a Swedish magazine called Aktuell Hållbarhet in Swedish. Mm-hmm. And you're also ranked as one of the female leaders of the future 2020 by Sweden's professional organization for executives, which is Ledarna in Swedish. And you are actually, I asked about your age because, this ranking, sustainability ranking was individuals under 33, but you're actually 30 years old. So I'm so blown away of everything you have done in your career, and you're so exciting to work with and to know.
Thank you. Helping me up here. My ego is this big now, but thank you so much, Eva.
Yeah, but we met. I have to say this also. We actually met a year ago in the island on the island of Gotland in Visby, and we happened to share an Airbnb. With, I think we were 7 people.
Yes, something like that. With one toilet.
And it was so fun to be there. But especially I remembered you because you were so engaged and passionate about your work. And I noticed you. And I place great value in working with people who are passionate and dedicated to their work, especially within the sustainability field. So I'm truly happy to have you here now, exactly a year after our first meeting, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. And likewise, I have to say likewise, I'm super impressed by your work, and I'm so grateful for you, been helping me out when I had some questions, about business and how to run a business and stuff like that. And it was such a fun trip. And then I'm really glad I met you.
Thank you. So Alexandra, tell us about responsible consumption. Mm-hmm. What is responsible consumption to start with?
So responsible consumption is all about, finding a way to consume within the boundaries of the one planet that we all have. For instance, consumption in itself is not a bad thing. We need to consume, right? Yep. But the problem is that we overconsume stuff that we don't really need, non-essentials. If for instance, if everybody in the world would live and consume as we do in Sweden, then it would require 4.2 planets. Yeah. That's 3 planets too much. That's insane.
That's insane.
Yes. And we have 10 years. We have to battle this. Like we have to balance our overconsumption, and we have to act more as circulants rather than consumers, like to use the stuff that we already have, basically. And that the numbers globally, as it looks now in the world, is that we live and consume worldwide like we would have 1.7 planet Earth. This is calculated by the Global Footprint Network, that every year they calculate the global overshoot day. Last year it happens by the end of July, and it's been happening earlier and earlier for each year. So responsible consumption is just that. Like we have to take aware and responsible consumer choices, and we have to realize that we have a consumer power really to change things into a more sustainable future.
Yeah. And you said a word that I noticed, the circulant, being not a consumer, but being a circulant.
Yes. So this is the word we just launched, like just when COVID-19, you know, I want to say exploded, but it kind of felt like that. It was like everywhere, and we all know the story, but just in the beginning we launched a new word, and that is circulant. It's a way to describe how you can act as a consumer that's sustainable within the boundaries of one planet. It's to engage in circular consumption. You know, you can borrow stuff, you can swap stuff, you can sell stuff secondhand, and take care of what you got and repair what's broken, you know, that kind of stuff.
So if our audience and listeners, if you would give them like 5 advices or tips of what they can do as a responsible consumers or circulants, like what can they start to do today or tomorrow to become this person?
I love these questions. These are the good ones, and I usually answer, you know, from where I am as well. But first of all, the most important thing is think about what you want to buy and ask yourself, do you really need it?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, then ask yourself again, like, do you really need this?
That's a good one.
And then, like, if the answer is yes, then you can then like ask yourself, can you find it in a more sustainable way? Like, do you have to buy it newly produced, or can you find it, you know, upcycled or secondhand or something? Like, can you find it in a more sustainable way? That's the first tip, advice I'd say. And number 2, this one I like, because we do have a power as consumers. Even if all of the responsibilities shouldn't be on just us, we still have to like play our part in the change here, of course. And so make it a habit. You don't have to buy this won't cost you a dime. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But every time you go into a store, ask the people working there, like, where is your sustainable options, or do you have circular options? And then they would probably say yes or no. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to buy it, but you are raising the awareness, like that it is a demand for these goods.
Yeah.
And if enough people ask, then, you know, the demand and supply. It's that easy.
Yeah.
So that's the second one. The third one is what you can do today. Like, one of the most important things we should do as consumers, you know, reducing our food waste.
Yeah.
It's so important to take care of what we buy, like eat it up. Like here in Sweden.
But yeah, that's what I said to my kids. I'm just kidding.
or take care of the rests, you know, because here in Sweden, I think it's like we throw away edible food 54 kilos per year. Like, in average, that's more than 1 kilo a week of edible food.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like we can do so much, and you know, we can take care, like what I did this morning, for instance, like it's asparagus season here in Sweden.
Yeah.
So I eat a lot of them right now.
Me
but
too.
yeah, I love them. They're
Yeah,
so
me too.
good. And they're really healthy too.
Yeah.
But some of them can quickly become bad, and you know, then I have to throw it away. So what I did is I searched for life hack. You know, if you just cut them like 1 or 2 centimeters at the bottom, wash them, and then you put them in a glass with water in the refrigerator.
Clever.
Yes. And then they don't become that bad.
No.
That quick.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's really good, advice. I'm
Right?
going to start that immediately.
Yeah, try it. I also do it with celery.
Yeah.
And you can do it with whatever really, but that helps to prolong, you know, the life. I was about to say life sentence, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
great
so that was like 3 advices, right?
Yeah. If you have any more, you could share them.
I have one more on top of my mind.
Yeah.
And it's transitioning from conventional deodorant towards a homemade deodorant, or a deodorant that's organic, you know, that's not, because responsible consumption is also, it's not only about the climate and the environment. That's important, yes, but it could also be about, you know, the health perspective, like for those who are working in the industry, but also your own health, and also in the end, you know, we humans also have waste. It ends up in nature.
Yeah.
So from a health perspective, I would say like reduce your chemicals and your toxins in your everyday life. And one easy way to do that is, you know, with deodorants. Okay,
so maybe you have a recipe on your blog that we can take part of.
Yes, I do. I shared it on Instagram, I think. Like it took me, actually, this is an anecdote, but it took me over like 1.5 years to find the perfect deodorant. Because, you know, I tried a new one, then I have to use it, you know, before I can try the next one. So it takes time, you know.
Wow, you have a product there. You should launch that product. Businesswoman in me is starting to think, you know, that you have actually. Wow. Okay, so we can look at your Instagram blog and take part of that recipe for deodorants. Okay, so if you just summarize it, the number 1 was like question yourself if you really need this product.
Yes.
Number 2 was raising awareness in shops.
Ask questions.
Questions. And number 3 was the asparagus. Put them in water.
Reduce food waste. Yeah.
And then the deodorant. I am really going to look that up on your blog.
Cool.
Thank you for sharing, Alexandra.
No worries. And you know, on our website, responsibleconsumption.se, you can find lots of life hacks and advices there as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks. So yesterday, we both participated on the United Nations Global Compact's virtual summit.
Yes.
And I think they are celebrating, is it 20 years now?
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I think there were like 15,000 participants.
Yes.
Virtual participants or approximately. And it was really, really interesting for me to, you know, to listen to all these high level panels and speakers and such. But I would like to ask you, because you blogged also yesterday about it. I happened to read it really. I read it quick and fast, but it got to me and made me very curious. So I would like to ask you if you could share your insights from yesterday. What are your takeaways?
Yes, of course. It was such a good conference, and you know, I'm happy to have been a part of it. Like I wouldn't have without it being virtual, you know, and situation that we're in now. But one thing that I've heard over and over again during the whole conference was the importance of leadership, self-leadership and leadership. Like, it's so important to handle both crises now. Like, it's not really the time to go back to business as usual, because we have to, this is an amazing opportunity, however tragic the reason is, to make the shift we need to do now. So I've had this like nagging thought, like during these weeks, like I see so many companies that stops with their sustainability efforts, and their sustainability personnel are the first one to go. So sustainability is not prioritized. So, and
why is that, do you think? I mean,
right. And this is the thing. I think like CEOs and executives and boards perhaps act as politicians. In a way. Politicians that wants to be reelected. I'm not talking about the good politicians, the people born, with that really wants to make a change, but the politicians and the CEOs who wants to be reelected, have this mindset. They have a short sight focus, like this is the crisis where I'm at the position of having a leadership role. So I'm going to present what? Good numbers. Because that's
for the owners.
For the owners, that's what counts now. But then at the same time, I also see, the complete opposite. Companies and organizations, making the shift that we all need to do, and high prioritize sustainability because they have a long side perspective. But I mean, we're people. We have an ego. And of course, I, as a Secretary General, want the organization to thrive. And I also do look at the numbers, but that cannot be the entire picture.
No, because I mean, I'm as I said, I'm a businesswoman, and I'm also a company owner to companies. And of course, the numbers are important, but that's short term. I mean, if you want to run a company in long term, you really need to look into the sustainability part.
Because this is circularity gap report shows like the younger generation, the millennials, the ones I call the no bullshit generation. That's what I call them, because that's what we are. There's no bullshit left. We will. This is the clients in your future. This is the consumers. Like, your organization, your business will be dependent upon these, and they will ask for more digital and more circular options. So companies that don't make a transition to sustainability or a circular business model, they won't be relevant in like 15 to 20 years. So presenting good numbers in this crisis is like, come on. That's what I feel. Come on.
So I mean, it has to be the economic models, because listed companies, they are always short term in showing the numbers in a short term perspective. So do you think we will see some kind of shift in our economic incentives or models? Or
I don't think it's a question of if. I think it's a question of when.
Great. I love your answer. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you. So your takeaways were about this kind of leadership that you reflected on this. It's super interesting. I think you are really onto something important here.
Yeah, I think so too. And I was more convinced that I was when Al Gore, he finished the entire conference, and he was saying like a momentum is coming, people are awakening, a change is happening, and we need to answer up to that.
I love that quote. You put that quote up, I think, on your blog.
But I didn't make sure it was like 100%, transcribed it, but
Yes.
but that
The essence.
the essence, exactly.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing your insights and your takeaways with us.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for asking.
Yeah, thanks. I have one more question for you, and this is more related to kind of trends. In Swedish, it's called trend. In Skånish, actually, trendspaning. How do you say that in English? Trend
spotting.
Spotting, yes. Great. So. Trend spotting, good. So what would you say about responsible consumption and within that area in what people call the new normal or the post-COVID timeline here? What are the trends that you can see right now connected to responsible consumption?
So this question really makes my fingers tingle or something. It's the Swedish expression, but I get really excited like when you ask this, because there is so much going on right now. Like people are screaming for, the data, the statistics, what's happening, what change going on, and nobody really has it, but I know it's coming very, very soon, like one of them. But what I can see that's happening is what Al Gore said, this momentum happening. Like there are two roads. We're at a road cross.
Yep.
Where a few of us will go here and a few of us will continue here. But I believe like during this time when we've gone inside ourselves more, maybe we find our true voice. Like what do we really resonate with? Because what we can see is that people are asking, they're becoming even more no bullshit. Really, like they're asking for more sustainable and circular options, and there's so many great ideas popping up, in startups with solutions.
Yes,
you've seen that too, right?
Yes, I'm working with startups. I'm in the board of Idea and Innovation with a lot of startups. So I can see that, yes.
Yeah, and that's super inspiring. But it also, on a personal level, it gives me hope. Yep. It gives me a lot of hope. Like it feels like we're on the right track. But at the same time, we can see that if the support packages from the government here in Sweden, at least, like they give away a lot of support to these big companies because they need it. Like nobody questions the need of them, but they don't put any demand that the company should make a sustainable transition. Like for in France, the government gave money to Air France, but not for the lines where there was a good train connection. And that's a great way to use the leverage towards, again, the 2030 and the goals that we need to reach. But we don't do it here in Sweden. So I'm like, at the same time, I'm very inspired, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean with these two roads.
Yeah.
And those are the trends that I'm seeing right now. But we also have, a lot of stuff is happening in the fashion industry. I can go on and on, but I'll just share this.
Yeah.
The hashtag Rewire Fashion.
Yeah.
That's an initiative, from the fashion industry itself to rewire the whole concept of fast fashion, because honestly, it's outdated.
Yeah. It is.
It's so outdated, and consumers also feel it, or circulants also feel it. Like we need to go back to what's in the haute couture fashion, really, where it's all about the story, the material, the creation. It's really art that you're wearing, and that was fashion and design was from the beginning, and we need to rewire back to that.
That's beautiful. I mean, art is like it's passion.
Yeah.
And could fashion be passion? It's like wearing clothes with passion and knowing that this has a story to share with us. I mean, that's beautiful.
It's really storytelling. But And if you can afford fashion, because you like, you know, you create your own style, like really. And but half of my, what do you call it, wardrobe is clothes, you know, that I inherited or got from my friends, you know, that has a story with them that makes them so much more valuable for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Alexandra, for sharing these insights and the trend spotting. I really appreciate it, and I'm truly so happy that you were able to make it to my show and share all your knowledge and and inspired, at least me. I got a lot of inspiration to become this circulant, responsible person, and I want to wear a badge or something. You know.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Eva. I'm super honored to be in your show. And I love the energy I get from talking with you as well.
Yeah. Yes, me too, from you. Thank you. And see you. Bye.
Bye.